Welcome
to the Yes Anthem podcast with your hosts, Kat London
and Rich Aveo.
What's the Yes Anthem?
The Yes Anthem is the inner desire to find the beautiful things in life.
If everyone sang their Yes Anthem out loud, we'd all sing in harmony.
The Yes Anthem wishes you the courage to like what you like,
Choose what you want,
and trust what you love.
Enjoy the episode.
Yes.
Do your stretches.
Yeah, let's go.
Do your stretches. Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
This is Kat Fund in London, and this is Rich Jenna Balls.
Yep.
Aveo.
I love it.
Chevy Aveo.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Sponsored
I got
by.
made fun of for that years ago.
What? Chevy Aveo?
Yeah, when the Chevy Aveo was an actual thing,
Yeah.
a friend of mine was like, why would you choose a stage name?
Why a car, man?
And worse, he goes, why would you choose? He joked, he said, I thought I taught you better than to pick a stage name named after an entry-level Chevy. I said, dude, you have no idea how hard it is.
You know what's funny? Just the term entry level, like
Yeah, I think that's
you
that's
guys
the
have never
punchline.
seen a car before, but you really need to like. It's like going in the shallow baby end of the pool. What is it
Right.
called? Is it called the baby pool? The baby pool. Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, and it's the warmest. Now tell me,
Hey, you know
is
why
the-
it's warm?
Because it's less water and it heats up the
And
sun.
all the pee in there as well.
I know.
Sure
I was trying.
contributes
I
to
was
that.
trying to avert.
You're trying to stay away from the blue
I was
today?
trying to stay away from pee, because we're going to talk about pee plenty today.
I'm sure.
Most definitely. Today we want to just have a lot of fun and ask questions of each other that we have
Yeah.
hidden from each other.
Before we begin,
Oh.
I have an offer for you.
Oh, God.
We are in the season of thanks.
Okay.
And the season of Thanksgiving. So I wanted to start this episode off by saying how grateful I am for you and how grateful I am to be doing this with you. And
I'm so grateful for that.
if anyone is out there listening, I'm grateful for you as well.
I love that. If there's anyone out listening, that's like pure college radio DJ speak right there. That brought me back to WTSR, TCNJ.
Late night?
Basement. No, I think our radio show was at 4 p.m.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I think it was for 2 hours. I think it was 4 to 6. It
That's
was
like sheer lack of
me,
confidence.
Sam, and Eric.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, if anyone is out there, this is live. We're gonna say a lot of curse words and hit the dump button.
Yeah. Yeah.
And play a lot of Mother.
Nice.
Canadians' new indie rock band.
Yeah. And now they're crushing it, right?
Oh, they're
Mother,
crushing
Mother.
it. And we're missing them by 1 week. We're
I
going out to
know.
London.
I would like to see them.
Oh, man, electric. I would love to see them too, but
Yeah.
their music, extraordinary.
pretty
But
cool stuff.
I am so grateful that we're doing this. I think that it's just a joy every week to talk to you
Yeah.
in front of people instead of just talking to you in private, which,
Yeah.
man, we do at nauseum.
It's
Nauseum ad nauseum.
ad
Ad
nauseum.
nauseum.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's funny because, we are married and
Yeah.
we also work together.
Gross.
We work independently as well, but we work together in addition to working separately. And it's,
Hilarious.
I think a lot of people would assume that there's like an age-old piece of advice, right? Like you don't work with your loved one, like never work with a family member, never work with this
I
or that.
suppose I've heard it.
And I think a lot of people out there, it can get exhausting for some people to work together. But
Yeah.
in our case, I feel like in a lot of ways it brings us closer together.
Oh, it's exhausting, but it brings us closer together. It's not like, it's not bad.
I think it's something very special, and I say that just to say that's another thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to be to have found somebody who, again, we've been married and we've been together for a while now, and to be able to work with you and have that not be a problem
Of course.
for us,
Yeah.
but rather almost like a muscle that we get to work out that just gets stronger and stronger over time.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that. So
High fives.
High five. I just wanted to start off by giving thanks in this season and getting started on the episode. So
Sorry, old church things are coming back to my head.
alms. The word alms I hated as a kid.
Alms.
You never heard?
Did I say that?
No, but
Oh,
you said church.
Oh.
I always associate the term "give alms" with church because there was a father.
I thought it was arms as a kid.
I could see that.
Give arms.
Give arms.
Because why not?
We should give each other
give
arms.
arms to children. Like, why don't we just give a bunch of swords to kids?
We should give those kind of arms. I was thinking just like doll arms. We should
I
give
was
our
thinking
niece
doll
like
arms,
a doll arm
but then
for
people would
Christmas.
be like, "That's very predictable for me to think a doll arm."
That's fair. What about the arm of a chair?
Yeah,
There you go. Just give her like a wooden
That would be
arm
a
of
family
a rocking chair.
That's a family business, a rocking chair business. That would only grow stronger as a muscle, as you were saying. We grow when we
Agree.
work together. I don't know.
Agree.
Or there's a lot of resentment in the armchair business.
There might be. All right, let's move it along.
I have
here.
a question for you, Richard.
Okay.
Okay. Why didn't you become a chef?
Honest answer or
Because you
funny
is
answer?
so good. No, you. Authentic, sizzling, simmering, sautéed rich.
All right, so I think I've said for many years that if I did not go into music, I probably would have gone into pursuing culinary school or something.
Yes,
like
I've heard this.
that. Right. So the reason I did not do that is because I feel like
That's a big reason.
it is.
Wow.
Well, because cooking is a passion of mine. So this is like I know this question is like a little bit goofy, but I kind of have a serious answer for it.
This is gonna be so fucking.
No, I just want to give you a real answer here.
I'm kidding.
The plain English answer
Yeah.
is too many hours.
Yes, that's what I knew you were gonna say.
It's
I
just too
just had
many
a feeling
hours.
you're
But
like,
it's bullshit.
I can't hold those hours.
It's a bullshit answer because
Why?
Because I work fucking 20 hours a day now on music, so I'm just putting in the same
But
hours
here's
now.
the thing: you're the type of person who will be like, "It's 2:00 in the morning. Maybe I should write a song." Whereas chefs have to be like, "It's 2:00 in the morning. I have to show up at the
I
job.
gotta wake up and
I-
make dough.
Right? Yeah, I have to wake up.
Yeah.
You have already been awake.
Yeah.
Like they have slept. Like depending if you're like a baker. I can't pretend
That's
that
a
I know
good-
the chefing
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
industry because there is also banquet chefs who are awake so late.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But yeah, the hours. So
I
yeah,
also-
maybe you're full of shit.
Well, I also look. I like cooking for us. I like cooking for small gatherings,
You're
our
so good
family,
at
things
it.
like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't like cooking for a large group of people.
Because you're
It's
shitty at it.
not shitty at it. It gives me the most anxiety. The most.
But what could go wrong?
In cooking?
Like the percentage of people who tell you they don't like it is
No.
higher
No,
than just
because-
me going, I think your pork is weird right now.
You know what it is too? I feel like, and I could be wrong about this because I've never pursued it professionally, but like
Yeah.
in music,
Yeah.
you write a song, you go through your creative process, and then you go try to deliver that song. But there's freedoms, right? Like every time you go perform the song, you can kind of feel it out, do this and that. I don't know that you can do that as a chef. I feel like you have to just really scientifically deliver that thing
I mean,
every time.
Yeah.
You have to meet a very specific expectation
Yeah,
night
that's
after
true.
night.
Because whenever we go to a restaurant,
You're like,
we
oh,
love,
that's
like,
the chef.
That's the
The
one
chef
that
must be out today.
We know.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, to me, like,
Or we remember when it does taste the same. We're like, oh, that's the burger I came here for. Or something
yeah,
like
and
that.
that's the satisfaction you get
Okay.
is when it's exactly as you remember
But
it.
if you were, I don't know. That's like if you're in I don't know this industry, but I
Neither do I.
presume
Yeah.
that if you're in like the upper, like the
Michelin
like,
star?
the Michelin star restaurants, you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
and
I'm
they're
sure.
like, if the chef was feeling like, oh, I could taste her emotion today
Yeah.
in this dish, like it tastes different than the other time she put endive inside a sardine. Or something like
Lord,
that.
God, why didn't you become a chef? It should have been
You
the question.
mean alms.
Yeah, alms. Put endive inside a sardine. You made me forget. God, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
My
I
back
forgot where I
hurts
was going
so
with this.
bad much right now.
Oh, I think I would enjoy opening one of those restaurants that doesn't have like a menu. It's just like when you get there, there's a board on the wall and it's
So,
like
a
here's what we
vending
have.
machine?
No, the opposite of a vending machine where the menu's different every day. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
so limited menu item you created by the day.
yeah, like
Okay.
each day is a prefix kind of thing. Like, here's our starter for today, here's our thing, and
that's
here's
what
our
I'm,
dessert.
yeah,
I
that's
could
where I would
maybe
put
do
you
something like
anyway.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to cook with recipes either.
Yeah, you are not a baker. Not because I don't
No,
think
I'm
I've
not.
ever tasted anything that you've baked. I don't think you bake.
I
You've baked brie before.
Yeah, I can do stuff
Congratulations.
like that, but that's savory. Baking is too scientific. I like science, but it's
Yeah.
like if you waver, it's not about
And
taste.
that's what I like. I like the scoops being of the certain
To me, that's
level.
just not fun.
Oh, it's excellent.
Well, there's art to it.
Yeah, because then you get to decorate whatever you made at the end.
That part's cool. I would decorate cakes and
Yeah.
stuff like that for sure because I do like
Yeah.
visual art like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
That's it.
I like to cook with all my senses
Mm-hmm.
when I cook. It's just like what am I tasting right now, and can I achieve what's in my mind? It's almost like a songwriting process for me. It's like, oh, I'm in the mood for something that like has like a red wine kind of a zing to it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what can I do with that? Ooh, maybe I'll braise some short ribs.
yeah.
Or so, so it's like then I get it's almost like a muse hits me. Baking, it's like I have to make sure that this if I don't like level off that tablespoon of baking powder, I'm gonna end up with a pillow of dough.
Absolutely.
No
Of
good, no
course.
bueno. All right, so I have a question for you now.
Okay.
It's actually kind of related to this.
Oh God.
What is the
A.
weirdest thing
C.
you've ever eaten?
Do you know the
She's
answer
having
to
a moment by
this?
herself. She doesn't want to share with the crowd over here.
Do you know the answer to this? Oh, a chicken heart, I suppose.
Oh, okay.
Rodizio.
I didn't expect
But I
that.
thought something flew into my mouth once. Remember when I think I've answered this in front of like friends before, and I
I
ate
mean,
it
I-
by accident. Oh,
Okay, go for it. I think I know
an
where you
inchworm
There you go. I didn't want to.
on
I wasn't
a
leading you.
raspberry.
There you go.
Okay, so
Explain,
you
explain.
and I were out to brunch in Woodstock, New York, because we were recording out there. Mm-hmm. I think.
No, you were
No,
opening
it-
up for Head in the
Oh
Heart.
yeah. So I was playing in Woodstock, and then we slept over and woke up and went to one of the brunch outings. And
Nice restaurant too.
Yeah, there was like a parfait, maybe, I don't know. There was some sort of fruit that I ordered, and
Yep.
one of the berries
Farm to
was
table.
a beautiful raspberry, and it was the cutest thing, like a movie, like a Pixar film. And I was like, Rich, there's a small neon green inchworm, microscopic, like doing its little butt dance on my raspberry. And think I just kind of said, I think I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
And then not a millisecond later, I just ate it. Why did I do that? I could have just let it go. I ate the inchworm. Which I have relived this story multiple times, but
Yeah.
until this moment, I'm actually really sad.
It was pretty barbaric.
That's really sad.
It was pretty barbaric.
It sounds like I'm laughing, and
You're crying.
and I am, but I'm crying as well. That's actually shitty.
All right, no.
What did you say?
Here's how I remember. Here's how I remember this. If I can help you save a little grace here
Oh no,
and save some face.
it was alive.
It was, but here's how I remember it. We had spent the night in Woodstock after a very successful show, and we had a very au naturel kind of a stay,
Okay.
as Woodstock
Oh,
would,
yeah,
would lend itself
the
to.
doors, the
Yeah.
gap between.
It was in like a
There was
cabin.
no weather stripping. In fact,
Stripping?
The weather stripping was. What's a funny way to call a hole in the door?
There was a void in the
void
door.
in the door.
It was like it was like one of those doors that like the old school doors that would open like this.
Ish, kind
Only
of.
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was the gap under the
raised.
door.
And maybe
Maybe
a few
8 inches
spiders.
high.
I'm pretty sure the spider from Harry Potter
Yeah.
walked in.
So
at night.
the next
so you
day.
think I was under the influence of nature? and
Here's
scavenging.
the way I remember this story is you prefaced.
Oh, I made a speech.
You did. You held up this inchworm walking across here.
And
it's not an inchworm, by the way.
What is it?
It was like
Maybe it was a baby inchworm.
I don't know.
It was
I'm gonna
curling
just,
up its body
It
like
was.
a freaking like.
It was
like a spaghetti.
I'm gonna just call it a parasite because it wasn't even like a worm. It was so tiny.
It had a face. It was.
It was the tiny. It was small. It was smaller than you could possibly
It was wearing
make,
a collar.
than you can possibly measure with your fingers.
Okay, fine.
But I remember you kind of going like, I mean, this is like a natural thing,
Yeah.
and we're in this farm to table restaurant,
Maybe.
and like they kind of just brought these fruits out straight from the field kind of deal.
And if
I'm just gonna if I wasn't looking at this, that's kind of how this would go down anyway.
Wow.
You know, and I just kind of remember you being like, I'm not gonna like freak out over this. I'm just gonna eat this bug. At this $40 brunch that we're about to have.
I was probably trying to get my money's worth.
It's probably what it was.
And as someone who, if an insect touches her, will literally run away and not stop running for maybe 5 minutes.
The other day,
that is very courageous of me.
It
or
was
barbaric.
What
was the other day?
Oh, well, I was going to say, just to piggyback on your fears of bugs, there was a ladybug on my shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And you went to yourself when you looked
No,
at.
I didn't.
Yes, you
I
did.
said, no. I'll tell you what I said.
You're not scared, and you went like this
Absolutely.
to yourself.
Really?
Yeah, you like instinctively.
I said, you're not scared of ladybugs. And I did that.
But you also like flicked yourself as if
No, I did because it flew.
Hadn't flown yet.
Yes, it did. As soon as I
about that.
said to try to like comfort I tried to like prep your brain as I would have liked to have my brain prepped to know if I had like a praying mantis on me. Like, Kat,
I wouldn't be okay
you
with that.
like animals, right? And I'd be like, yes, there's a praying mantis on you. And I'd be like, oh, okay, get it off. Get it off. Get it off. Instead, if someone said there's a praying mantis on you, I'd be like,
Listen, if you
and it would die, and then I would eat it.
if you were to preface that there was a bug on my shoulder with "you like animals, right?" You are literally setting me up to be the most scared I've ever been in my entire life.
What? That's nice. No, that's nice.
It's not nice. It's not nice at all. It's like saying to somebody like, "Oh, you like cows, right?" And then like holding up a cow head.
What?
Like you can't do that.
But
you can't open up someone's
the
heart.
emotion that you get when you say, that's what I'm saying. Open up your heart. So it did work.
But you're opening up someone's heart to prepare
You
them
like
for something
ladybugs,
like
right?
nice, not to be surprised
It
by
is.
something.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, it works.
You like Halloween, right? And then you turn around and there's like
But you're using it for
machete.
shitty. But you like ladybugs. That's why I said you like ladybugs. No one would ever go, Kat, you like ladybugs, right? I'd say, absolutely not. And then that would be the Halloween shrunken head deal.
Yes, I don't know. I feel
Actually,
like
that would be great. I don't know if
I
that's
feel like
pretty
I
apropos for Halloween.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would like that introduction.
Moving on.
All right. So your question. You have another question for me?
I have like 7 more.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
I wrote some down myself.
Why don't you like pancakes?
I don't not like pancakes.
Yeah.
I just think pancakes. Who cares?
No, I care. My whole family cares. We are
What's in a pancake?
Pancaked.
What is a pancake made
Pancakes.
of? Do we know?
sandwiches. It's
I rest.
flour.
I don't like
It's
sandwiches either.
Flour, milk,
Sugar.
I don't know. I've made. I don't know. It's pancake mix.
What is in it? Here we go.
Buckwheat.
Pancake ingredients.
God. Eggs.
Eggs,
milk,
flour, milk, butter,
chips,
baking
butter,
powder,
yeah,
and melted
that's-
butter.
Yep. Oh, or corn.
Cornmeal.
Corn mix. Jiffy, like the whatever. So a lot of fake shit is
Like cornbread.
cornbread. That's what it is.
Cornbread's not an ingredient, but yeah.
Well, you could put the stuff.
I don't know.
The
I
cornbread
just-
mix my dad puts in.
Again,
A lot of times.
I want to clarify. It's not that I don't like pancakes. It's just I think
They're the best thing in the world.
I think people get too friggin' ramped up over pancakes,
Yo.
and it's nothing.
It is. What are you talking about? That's like, Well, okay.
You don't like pancakes. You like the butter and the syrup
No,
and
no.
the jam that
Do you
goes
know
on
how
there.
I eat pancakes? Tell
Listen,
me.
like
You
a
know how-
terrorist.
No, I don't. I eat pancakes. I'll eat pancakes the normal way.
Yeah.
But I will also make a honey taco.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what a honey taco is?
Go for it. We're off the rails. We're not even 15 minutes into this podcast right now. But
All
go
right,
ahead.
so hold your pancake like a taco, and then squirt some honey, or spread it if it's like harder honey, and then you fold it like a taco. Often it'll crack, but then you eat
Always.
it with your
Yeah.
hands, and that's called a honey taco, a pancake honey taco that I made up. I don't know if anyone
Listen,
else does that.
as disgusting as you made that sound, the idea of a honey taco actually sounds pretty good to me.
Actually, there is I think there is something like that, like a waffle protein. But a waffle is not a taco.
Yeah,
I guess neither is a pancake.
it's not.
Did you know that, so our friend Jay and I have bonded over a similar ailment that happens when we eat pancakes.
Okay. What? Oh my God. What is?
Talk to the people, Rich, while I collect
I'm trying to
Our
formulate.
throats close up.
You're literally dripping tears from your face right now. You're asking me why I don't go crazy over tacos, and then you're gonna tell me when you eat them your throat closes up.
Pancakes. You said tacos.
Or did I say tacos? Yeah, pancakes. Is it because of the? Is it like an allergic reaction, or because the pancake itself gets like stuck in there?
You got to talk for the people watching on Apple Podcasts,
I
because
am-
not everybody's watching this on YouTube, so you got to not let dead air.
Oh, they're gonna get some dead air here because I need to revel in this moment myself. I'm not gonna act like an interviewer here.
Random. I don't know how we found this out, but Jay goes, "This is like 15 years ago." They go, "I don't know, but when I eat pancakes, my throat closes up." And I said, "Me too." And they said, I think what we found is that we eat them too fast."
Yes, I would. Yes,
And then it sticks to our throats.
that's right. Pancakes are a danger.
I just think it's so funny because of how much you don't like pancakes, and
I don't not like them, but you are absolutely not making pancakes sound like a desirable
That's
food.
why I'm laughing, because I'm like totally in support of pancakes.
As a-
yet
as a-
I will totally die.
You'll choke to death.
I will choke to death.
Pancakes pancakes to me are like a solid cake of suds.
Oh yeah, that's what it looks like, but
Yeah.
that's not what it tastes like.
No, I guess not. I mean, they taste fine, and I like butter and syrup.
Some
but like,
taste like shit, but you gotta do them nice.
yeah, I actually don't. I don't think I know the difference between like a high quality pancake and a shit pancake. Like, it's whatever.
High quality pancakes. My dad makes a high quality pancake.
He does make a good and I like pancakes. It's just I think people go too crazy. People go crazy over mimosas too.
Yeah,
Whatever, dude.
those can go scram.
They're fine,
It's just OJ.
They're
and
good.
What? Just give me the alcohol part.
and also,
I guess it's just a mixed drink.
what about bacon? We share a similar thought about bacon.
Yeah, well, it's just not healthy, so we've kind of chosen not to.
But I just feel
I
like
used to love bacon, like crispy bacon, burnt, like bad for you bacon.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like carcinogenic bacon.
I would put my toast in the toaster like 2 times on
Make it
high
dark?
and make it very dark.
Yeah.
As a kid.
I like a well done piece of toast and a
Yeah.
well done bacon.
What about a well done pancake? Not so
just-
good. Not
Probably
so,
better,
maybe.
I guess.
Sometimes I've had a burnt pancake before. It's not
Yeah.
bad. Anyway, moving on.
No, I want to continue with this real quick.
Well, I've never choked on a pancake, so
I've experienced something similar as a kid. Like
So
with
you
pancakes.
did. It's got to be because we don't even chew them.
Well, I think you chew them, but like, what happens to a pancake when you chew it? It just reconstitutes into another pancake as it goes down your throat.
I'm so
It's like
excited for Jade to listen to this.
It's like that it's like the fucking, what is that stuff? Like the space slime, the sand.
Squand?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, man.
That's what
The
pancakes
stuff
are.
like where the kids in the commercial, Ming, were
You ever see that stuff, man?
that-
The sand
that
that's like sort of
squand
hard but not.
stuff in the yeah, it's like an aquarium, and like there's fish, and the kids are like squirting squand
There it
into
is.
their yes, yes,
stuff.
yes.
That's the
yes,
stuff I'm talking
yes,
about right there.
Yes.
I also
Squand.
wanted
There
to
it
squand.
is.
So I also wanted to
Squand.
point out in Ming's previous search, one of the first actual Google results was something made by a company called Quickcrete Play Sand.
Quickcrete?
Yeah, so like maybe the equivalent of concrete,
Quick concrete.
and we're comparing pancakes to this.
Yeah.
So you see where I'm going here. This is why I don't go crazy for pancakes. There you go.
I gotta tell you, and I think maybe that's why pancakes are so large, because they know you're not gonna chew them, so you're just gonna be swallowing them.
Yeah.
So the bigger they are, the more you feel like you've gotten your money's worth. Like I'm still eating my breakfast.
I guess, yeah.
Whereas I've eaten a honey taco super fast and then just like walked out the door. But then I'm like, oh, that wasn't special.
I'm going to tell you exactly why I don't love pancakes. It just came to me.
There you go.
Okay. Now, much like coffee, much like beer, much like a mixed drink of some sort,
Okay, a beverage.
people who go to a cafe
Yeah.
and order like a macchiato frappuccino type of deal,
Yeah.
you don't love coffee.
You like candy.
You like milkshakes. Pancakes on their own are the
Yeah.
driest
Yeah.
wet thing
Yes.
I've ever
Yeah.
tasted in
Yeah,
my
I
life. So
get
like,
it.
if you just try to eat a stack of
Yeah.
of just
Yeah.
unadorned pancakes,
Yeah.
you're gonna choke to death.
Is it better or worse? All right. So, okay. Pancakes or cornflakes? No milk. What would you rather eat a handful of?
Probably pancakes.
Okay.
Just dry cornflakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I'd probably go pancake on that.
What's worse than that is probably a handful of Rice Krispies, just plain. Although, have you ever like
I've done
scooped
that.
Rice Krispies and then put your tongue on them?
Yeah, absolutely. They
Yeah.
pop. They're like Pop Rocks.
Right.
They like sizzle on your tongue.
Yeah. Great.
All right. Well, that's my answer.
Man, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, you really beat yourself up with that one. All right.
I just don't like giving you ammunition. Oh no, not don't like. I love giving you ammunition against me. It's like, why would you like something that would kill you?
I mean, whenever you have an answer, whenever you try to answer something in defense of yourself, you always bolster my point instead. 100% of the time. So, all right, I have a question for you now.
Okay.
Who was your last celebrity crush, and how old were you?
Oh God. I should just name all of them when they were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can they be fake?
Yes, because I think I know where
Okay,
you. what
Harry
you mean.
Potter.
Oh, I saw that one coming a mile away.
Johnny Depp.
Well, wait, you got to give me ages of yourself when
Harry
you
Potter,
were
I was
crushing
the
on them.
age. I was.
There's your man right there.
Yes, and I think
Is that prime Harry Potter, young Harry Potter?
Yeah, I think, and I just mean like, I don't actually like Daniel Radcliffe satisfied the previous crush on Harry Potter, the character of the book, like for maybe a year or two, but then I was like, nah.
I get it.
And then I'm like, nah, just Harry Potter's
The
fine.
character in the book.
The character in the book is,
I
yes.
got you. I totally understand that.
Exactly.
I totally understand that.
But speaking of Daniel Radcliffe, what the hell's his name? Paul.
Paul Dano?
Paul Dano. When this was when the movies Wait, I'm trying to remember.
Little Miss Sunshine, Paul Dano.
Little Miss Sunshine, Paul Dano, and then that one. And these are like fleeting things for me.
Of course. Well, I think
I don't
all
hold
celebrity
on to
crushes
these things.
Of course. That's why I wanted you
yeah.
to talk through it, because
Yeah.
it's always interesting, I think, to find out like where you're.
Yeah, Johnny Depp, I think I held on to for the longest, and that was. I don't know.
Last year.
That was last year. Yeah, probably. I think that was, probably, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know. I kind of stopped paying attention to celebrities altogether.
Yeah.
To be honest. And then I was just kind of like hating on pretty boys for a while.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even know who I'm attracted to. But yeah, who else? I don't know. A lot of cartoons, I guess, as a kid for sure. But that was not the last one. Yeah.
There's Johnny Depp.
There he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
Most certainly.
He's a uniquely good-looking dude. He's not
Yeah,
like
he's
not like
unique looking.
When he was young, he was like your standard pretty boy, and then he turned into a comic book character. Yeah.
Yeah. And I never.
I mean that's
saw Crybaby.
Crybaby.
And stuff. I only saw, I think, Edward Scissorhands, and it's so funny with me and the actors. For me, it's the characters.
Sure.
And I honestly, I think yes, for me, it was like Edward.
So Edward Scissorhands is more.
I feel like I have better answers for you for things of this nature. But most certainly, yes.
I know Jim Carrey was up there for a
yeah,
while.
Yeah,
right?
actually. Yeah, even, yeah. Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, it's a lot of comedians, like, even...
I get it.
I wouldn't even call it crushes, but just, like, attractions, like Sacha Baron Cohen. I don't know.
But they're
Who
all
else?
good. They're all
Do
good.
you know? Because
No,
I've...
Yeah, there he is. The Ali G version of
definitely
Sacha
Ali
Baron
G.
Cohen. Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
The
my
Borat
God.
slingshot.
So funny.
He's a good-looking guy, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, I think Sweeney Todd, I was like, oh, wow, like, what an actor.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
a
I'm
talented
just,
dude.
like, really attracted to acting.
Yeah.
And how you portray your acting. I hardly remember women actors' performances. Hardly. Like, I don't understand. And I don't understand why. Ooh, my throat's all weird right now.
Eating pancakes?
I'm spiritually eating pancakes right now.
Do you think...
Maybe it's the roles that they've been given have sucked. Women's roles in Hollywood just suck. They're not...
Like less developed?
They're less dark and, what is it? What's the guy who plays Sirius Black? Oh my God. Blanking.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman said an actor is a mixture of menace and something else.
Oh, yeah,
but,
yeah.
of like poise and menace. And like a good actor can do both. I had the quote written down the other day.
Yeah.
I'll have to grab it. But I loved that. And I think women are rarely put in a menacing role. And I just thirst. I'm getting emotional. I thirst for those roles. I want those roles. Like oh, God. I think the closest I got to that was playing Aveo when she died, and she wasn't even menacing. It's not written as menacing, but I loved dying. And I I love this sad, it's like a mixture of loving the challenge, but also loving that a writer even wanted to look into that sector of a person. Or maybe, here's also another thing. I haven't seen a lot of movies, and you can vouch for that.
It's true.
But I am mostly attracted to fucking Joker. When we saw Joker, I walked out of the theater.
You had a sincere moment.
I had a moment,
during that
and then
movie.
after, in reflection, I told you it was a combination of, oh God. I'm like,
Which I want to watch again, by the way.
I love Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He is another crush of mine. I told you it was a combo of not only the fact that that people hurt as much as that character, as that person, like just in an empathetic way for like the world, but it was his acting. And I think I told you, I'm like, I was like going crazy. I was like, I want to do that. Like, I can't describe it, but that's the kind of, like, I don't want to leave this earth without doing
The complexity.
something like that.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Question. Mm-hmm. Do you think you have gravitated toward these amazing male talents?
Yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with like when a man can like again, you know how I feel. This has nothing to do. I'm just I'm not
of a male hiding one's emotions.
correct, or maybe not hiding, but more so like a male's ability to access this complex emotion with full understanding.
For me, I'm not shocked. It does not come from an element of surprise. I already know. I was never a person who was like, girls rule and boys drool. I was
totally.
not. I don't know why. I was not one of those people. From a young age, too, I did not believe in seniority.
Yeah.
If you were like, seniors are going to beat up the freshmen, I'm like,
Get the hell out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
rocks.
I will literally kill your whole tribe. Like, and then of course,
There's a
that's
show of
where
love.
Out of love, I will kill everybody you know.
Just to clarify, too,
I don't know. I don't think it was shot. Yeah, go ahead, Claire. Yeah.
I don't know if the way I worded that made it sound like about the actor. I was more referring to the character.
Oh.
Like Joker, let's say, right?
Okay.
Or I forget Sacha Baron Cohen's character in Sweeney Todd's name.
He was
forget
Mr. Prelly's Miracle Elixir.
Right.
He was the barber, the young barber who wound up.
the competitor or whatever.
Yeah, the competitor.
That character, right? The character
Okay.
had this side that was like driven by fear and pain and like driven by like this dark
Yeah.
fuel.
Yeah.
And the character had to have like constant access to that emotion.
Yeah, we're all and that. Sorry, you have a question?
No.
to fix that?
You go ahead, please.
That is real life. I don't care if you are non-binary, man or woman, but often in film that I have seen, women don't have to. The only thing like women have to overcome is like love for their family, like just coming on home, goody goody girl, like it's okay. I don't know. Maybe I just watch shitty films.
No, I don't think you watch it.
I don't know. There's just something about, I don't know. I don't even think this is that deep. I just happen to, this could also just be my preference is a male's interpretation of the pain and anguish into what one might do with it. And if often like it can stay in menace, but it's still, there's so much, you see the pain. There's maybe even there's still loose ends. Like there's still a villain-ish. Like I just rewatched Dracula. What's his name's Dracula? The guy who made The Godfathers.
Coppola.
Yeah. And I was like just so enthralled with Gary Oldman because like he's still fucking Dracula. It's not like he becomes like fucking. It's not like the end of Beauty and the Beast where the Beast becomes the prince again.
Right.
Actually, Belle is pretty fucking badass, but I don't think Belle is driven by pain. She's only driven. Beauty and the Beast is one of the Disney films that I will cry. The old Disney films. Lion King, yes, we all cry because of the apparent reasons there. It's very surface level. But Belle, like Beauty and the Beast, I've cried, but she's always driven by love. She isn't like my painful. There's still, I don't know. There's still like that princess thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
The
kind of
Beast is so much cooler when he's in like just tormented because of his own anger. He was turned into a consequence of a bestial body, and then because he does still have love, obviously, is even the reason why he could make a connection with Belle. Those are the parts, man. Give me those parts.
Well, it's funny because the reason I asked that is because my position on gender roles. Like I'm not for that. It's not my I'm not like men are this way, girls are. I'm never like that. We talk about this a lot. Where it's just like when we hear people say, like, especially women, it's like, oh, shut up with that. It's maybe there are some things that people socially kind of like deal with, but it just makes me think about you as a person, right? Like, you as a woman, your personality is a little bit more in the
intense.
Yes, but in the psychological sense of male and feminine, not the gender sense of masculine, feminine. I think you have a pretty masculine drive to you. You're
As one would categorize masculine or feminine, sure.
well, yeah. I mean, this is
Of the
maybe a whole separate.
stereotype, yeah.
Not stereotypical. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about social ideals. I'm talking about just literal, like, tribal
Energies.
Energies. Yes,
Okay,
thank
yeah,
you.
Yeah. And even very high awakened people do reference a feminine energy and a male energy. You can call it whatever you want, but there are certain energies that do exist in the air.
Yeah.
So
Well, like
as we understand them, you're saying that I
well, I think like
can tap into.
you said it
I
yourself.
have everything. I have.
Well, yeah, but you said it yourself too. Like, even growing up, you're not like a girls roll, boys drool kind of a person.
Yeah.
So because of that, maybe you are able to connect with these characters who do have weights pulling them down,
Yeah.
but still kind of have to either push forward or fall prey to their own demons. And maybe you personally relate to that a little bit.
Yeah, I think I relate to it because I wanted to access it. Whereas I think my whole point about I want women to be written into roles like that is because women go through it too, but their access of what's taking their hearts down and pummeling them is masked a lot differently. It's masked in like brightness and like, oh, let me take care of that. Let me take care of that. Whereas men also have like, and we're talking spectrums, people, you know, men are also like, I'll take, no, I got it. I got it covered. Maybe men are more like, I got it covered. Does this ring a bell? I got it covered. And women are like, oh, I'll take care of that. Like, nurture.
Like more dominant versus more maternal.
Possessive, I guess.
Like more nurturing.
I don't know. I think women also, at least when I was growing up, I don't know. Like as a kid, kids are just kids, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I think just maybe my only difference was I wanted to recognize and dive into those hurtful emotions that every single human feels. Whereas I was also observing like the boys in my class being just some boys.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do both here. And at the time, there were no binary people who I knew. Non-binary, only binary.
Right.
The boys in my class, some of them were dicks, and I was like, okay, I don't resonate with them because they're not willing to go into that empathy, that hurt, that pain, that poetry.
Right.
And then there were a lot of girls in the class who were also like, everything was just up and bright and prom queen, like that kind of thing, that kind of energy, which is also
another
both
compensation.
are, but they didn't want to entertain the poetry either.
Sure.
So I found, and it's important to say that like both those masks that we wear, like that prom queen mask and that I'm a dick mask, is masks of severe pain.
Sure.
That's what I was interested in. So I guess my friends growing up were more kids that weren't like, I'm emo. It wasn't that I was looking after. I was looking at, I guess, how I identified heart-opened people, like they were welcoming and vulnerable, were people who were willing to play. So if I could play with you, meaning like use my imagination or create or do art or sit in silence and just draw,
Yep.
Yes Anders. I knew that they were going to they were on their maturation journey as far as emotional maturation a little bit sooner, or at least they matched me, because I don't think I certainly didn't have it figured out either.
Right.
But because I was open to that kind of emotional vulnerability, it was in our forms of entertainment, either musical theater that I saw, local plays, ballets, art, like whatever, if I was seeing a cartoon or just a regular old Hollywood film, it was those characters, similar to at school, the vulnerable characters that I loved. And I just don't remember seeing a lot of, I guess the ones that stuck with me were male characters. It does not mean that I did not see a vulnerable female character in Hollywood. Does not mean that. I'm just saying the types of stories that stuck with me, and it's the stories, not the pain.
Right. The
type of stories are the ones that stuck with me. I don't know. That's just a little bit about me.
Cool.
Yeah. I feel like I wanted to say something else to button that up, but I don't really care, because I think that was just fine. I think that was good.
Yeah, I think it was awesome.
All right, cool.
I'll throw a button on there if I could.
Yeah.
It seems that then all the crushes that you had throughout your life track with that very well, because I think every single one of those people you just mentioned, every single one of those talented actors you just mentioned, you have something bubbling up? Do you want to share it?
I think in a lot of characters that I liked or took with me, not, I don't want to say liked. That's very, Facebook-like, is the ones that needed a companion or a comrade. And I think at a young age, I knew that, or I felt I knew, who knows what the ultimate truth is, but this is my truth, is that everybody needs to feel useful and loved, and they need a friend. And I often, I think you can relate to this too, I was friends with everybody. I remember my dad, when I was younger, saying, when he would describe his school, he would say, he goes, I was friends with everybody. That's a phrase that sticks with me, that my dad always, when he recounts, he just, if it happens to come up, he will say that as a descriptor of his relationship with people in his schools growing up.
Right.
I was friends with everybody. And so was I.
Yeah, me too.
And I was friends with everybody. And I just, and that includes, like, the people who were douchebags and everything. Like, I was friends with them too. At the time, I didn't know how to not take on their emotions. So a lot of times I absorbed their emotions by touching them, and, like, kept them, for myself to become sometimes resentful of, like, what a cruel, cruel world, the Wicked Witch melting. How could this be? But my faith was bigger than that. I knew the world and the universe and God was bigger than that misery. But it was those people who I did see that were sad, that needed a hug, so to speak, are the ones that I went, that we need more portrayals of that. We only need portrayals of that. We don't need. And even, like, I don't know, I've never seen the movie, but you like The Last Samurai? Does that kind of hold dear? Like, pain? I don't know, I'm just making this up. I don't even know what that movie's about. But, like, there's a lot of male roles of, like, warrior roles.
Yeah.
Of, yep.
Yeah, it's a great story, The Last Samurai.
And I remember,
beautiful movie, too. God, it's one of the most beautifully shot movies I've ever seen in my life.
Maybe we should watch. Wait, did I see it? No, I didn't.
I mean, I don't know. I've watched it at home a dozen times.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever sat down to actually.
Yeah. And what was really cool? Sorry, we're going on a lot about this. Why Encanto
Yes,
was.
ending.
Why Encanto was really freaking cool? Because it delved in to how fucked that grandmother was.
Yeah.
For once. You know, usually, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like
There she is.
It exposed that
the pain that a woman,
lack of vulnerability.
Yes, and what it could
and
transpire.
how it could hurt others around
that
you.
movie fucking rocked.
Yeah, it was a great movie too.
Because it did
cried my head off.
finally show. It had, and I'm saying finally. Again, I haven't seen a lot of movies, which is so funny for an actor to say. I have seen a lot of movies, but it was just George of the Jungle. Oh, huge crush, George of the Jungle.
Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser, absolutely.
A young Brendan Fraser was quite a specimen.
He was quite a specimen and was hella older than.
Oh, there's an interesting Brendan George photo right there.
Yes, it was Brendan Fraser. And then guess what else I saw with Brendan Fraser in it? Just guess.
The Mummy?
I saw 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mummy, of course.
Have you ever seen Encino
is.
Man?
No, of course.
Oh, my God.
I probably wasn't old enough for that.
You have to watch Encino Man. Hilarious.
And talk about nice. I have seen pictures of this.
Pauly
but I was
Shore.
not old enough when he was so young there.
Yeah, super young. Have you seen Airheads?
No.
Oh, my God.
I'm not.
Great movie, Airheads.
Oh, my God.
Frickin' Brendan Fraser,
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, and
Really?
Steve Buscemi.
Shut up.
They're a
Steve
they're a
Buscemi.
band.
Oh my God, he looks like every sound tech I know.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does look like every
awesome.
single sound
That's
tech ever.
Great. That's awesome.
It's Airheads is such a funny movie.
I'm sure it's as deep as Encanto.
It's got its substance.
Look at them. Oh my God.
It's got its substance.
That's so funny. Well, Encanto, for me, not having seen a lot of movies except for George of the Jungle and soon Airheads, I went, finally, a very exquisite look at the females, at this particular female's burden.
Yeah.
That literally fucked the whole family up.
Yeah. And how it passed on through generation to generation.
Oh my God, awful.
The older sister.
And of course the reason, oh, insane.
That made me
Insane.
cry. Like, I know that song Under Pressure
Yeah.
is supposed to be like a big hit song of the movie.
Okay.
I cried during that whole song.
We were a mess.
We were a wreck through that whole damn movie. Not to mention, of course, then they add in the whole Latino culture,
Yes,
which is like
yes.
finally some representation.
And we were watching. We were watching it with your family.
And we're watching it with my
your
sister
little-
who's crying and my niece who's crying. But
This was great for the
our
kids.
niece. But yeah, no, good. I'm glad that
Okay.
silly question opened up some chambers.
Holy macaroni!
That's what
And
this show's all about, you know.
I'm sure. I think I'm gonna have to wind up asking your questions to you.
You
Because
can.
my questions are not gonna open you up.
You'd be surprised. Well, you know, it's funny, I just want to say, because again, I'm in a very grateful like mood.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. When this
Yeah.
season rolls around, I try to be extra mindful toward the things all we're doing on this podcast, by the way, this is what our marriage is like. We sit and we talk about these things, and
It's gratitude.
it'll be a stupid question that will turn into a philosophical conversation
Yeah.
in the living room, and
I'm
one of
so
us will start
grateful for
crying.
that. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you know, I love that about this. I think anyone who's listening who is married, I urge you, don't, you know, have these weird conversations, play. You know, have these playful, thoughtful conversations with each other, because it's special, and it's one of the rare gifts that you can get from life, I think.
Yeah. And you don't plan them. They bubble up, and you have to and that's part of the Yes Anthem, is say yes and to yourself,
Yes.
which is something I think I remember is during COVID especially, I was reading a lot of spiritual books and everything that was making me practice being conscious of feelings. We are feelings. I mean, you've heard that time and time again if you follow the hashtag whatever universe. But I'd be like feeling a feeling, and instead of just being like, I'm hungry now, Like I'd be like, "Whoa, a feeling. Maybe this is a creation," and then I'd say it out loud more. Not that that I never did this in the past, but it was so different to do that after reading like all these books, like Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza and The Courage to Be Disliked, and learning about Adlerian psychology. Those things were mega huge.
Yeah. Just self-exploration.
Yeah, totally. Let's explore you, my love.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure you know the answer to this next question?
I'm sure.
You gotta trust me. What was your first instrument?
I think.
Oh, I did not expect this.
I can go a lot of ways with this because I think my first real instrument was my voice.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
because
you like never sang until you were 16.
I didn't, but I did for myself. And when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I would do a lot of character voices. I would do this stuff, and I would beatbox, and I would explore.
Really? Oh, you are pretty good.
How to make weird sounds with my voice and like sound effects. I was a huge fan of Michael Winslow, who was
Are you talking
Ming's
about
chuckling.
Friggin'
Because you don't know who he is.
oh.
Michael Winslow is a comedian.
Oh. I was
Who-
close though. I thought it was Winslow from He's a Cop.
Are you
Right?
talking about?
I'm talking
You're
about-
talking about Urkel's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talking about Carl Winslow?
Carl Winslow is
No.
also a cop. This guy's a cop, right?
Well, no. Well, he got famous because he was in the Police Academy movies.
Oh, he's an actor.
He's a comedian and actor, but his whole thing.
Oh, that's right. Boy,
And he's
I'm sorry.
he's funny as hell, but his whole shtick.
Wait, I think I know this guy.
Yeah, I hesitate to say you've seen movies with him in it, but
Is that an American Idol backdrop? What the hell is that?
I think
America's Got Talent?
Yeah, no, America's Got Talent was doing these little celebrity vignettes
Oh, okay.
for a while, making it look like they were applying to be on the show, but they were actually just doing a thing.
That's cute.
Anyways, so Michael Winslow is famous for being in the Police Academy series.
Okay.
And his whole deal was he can make all these crazy sound effects with his voice, which he really can.
Yeah.
Would blow your mind. I think Ming, you might know the answer to this, or we can definitely Google it, but I think Michael Winslow throughout the 90s was responsible for like hundreds of different of sound effects on video games and movies.
Oh, really?
Like they would sample his mouth sound effects
That's pretty awesome.
and use them in like Star Wars. Like the
Yes,
gun, like
yes,
some of the
yeah, yeah.
guns that fire off in Star Wars are his mouth.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's bonkers. So I would get like obsessed with him.
Yeah.
And I, whenever his stand up would come on, I would watch it. And Police Academy movies were huge, so like I would watch those too.
I never saw them, but I obviously have heard of them.
But he's amazing. He's a unique talent. So maybe
Wow.
I'd say my first instrument
yes.
that I fell in love with
Yeah.
wasn't my singing voice per se, but it was my voice as an instrument.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I fell in love with. Second,
Mm-hmm.
simultaneously second and third, my dad, the classical guitar that I have,
Yeah.
my dad had that guitar in a case
Yeah.
in his closet, which no one ever went in but him because it was only his stuff in there, his clothes.
Yes.
Every once in a while, I'd be playing in the house. I would hide in there, play in there with my toys or whatever. And I always see the guitar case in there, and I used to open the case and like smell the guitar.
Really?
There was something about the smell of the strings of a guitar as a kid that was like, I think the case was leather too, so I think it had like a leathery smell.
Okay.
Yep, the old hard case.
Definitely leather.
If you open up a guitar case, it has a very distinct smell.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
Right?
Yep.
And like,
Yeah.
my dad never played the guitar around me. He was like
Could've
okay
been
at
a
it. He never
guitar
like played.
player.
Yeah, I don't know. But so ultimately, my weapon of choice became piano
Yes.
because my grandmother had a really close friend named Florence who lived on Oliver Street, but near Independence Park in Newark. And every so often, me and Grandma would take a walk to Florence's house, and they would have coffee and cackle in the kitchen or whatever. And Florence had this crazy-looking organ. Like, it was one of those multi-tier organs with all the pull stops and, like, switches and levers. And they were all, like, different colors. And I just remember, like, it looked so damn cool. It just looked... the balls. It looked so cool. Like the colors. I didn't know what anything did, and I don't even know if she played it.
How old were you?
Oh God, 4.
Oh,
maybe 3.
When did you see your cousin's piano, though?
Yeah, probably 5. Yeah, my cousin. They had an upright piano in their house.
Okay.
And he didn't play. No one played. They just had it. But he knew how to do like an arpeggio, all the way up the keys.
Nice.
And that's what he would do. And he would
2
like,
hands?
Yeah, like overlapping and like
Very nice.
Liberace was big in our family, so like
yes.
he would like do the whole. He would
The
put on the show, you know.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, whoa, like that's so cool.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And in first grade, I've told this story a million times to anyone who knows me, but Mrs. Jackson had a piano in my first grade class, which I sat right next to.
Okay.
And oftentimes the front of it would be open, so you could see the mechanics in it.
Oh, amazing.
And it was like, oh my God, it was just like the cool. I just remember like just looking at it and like seeing the hammers, like, and just being like, that's just so cool, man. You know, like just obsessed with it. And she would play. She played simple stuff, and we would sing and stuff. But yeah, I got obsessed with the piano very young. But way before that, I would even just like playing with my toys, you know, like playing with G.I. Joes and playing with my wrestlers. Would voice the characters. I was a big fan of WWF, and I would voice Hulk Hogan and
I think
voice
it's
this
interesting
one.
how I get the Winslow thing. I would never categorize my voice as my first. Oh, that's not true. Or categorize it with sound effects as my first instrument. It would be just more like singing or something for me. But that just shows to me like how much more attention you paid to the dynamic of a voice and what it can do to then categorize it as an instrument.
Yeah, just
like,
a different
even just
perspective.
with sound effects.
It's just a different perspective because I don't think at that age, I don't think I was paying attention to singing like that. You know, my dad at the time was a professional singer, so he would be singing around the house full voice often. To me, it was more of a nuisance than anything else. You know, I wasn't going like, ooh, how does he do that vibrato thing?
Really?
Yeah, I kind of, not that I didn't care because I always loved music, but first of all, I didn't speak Spanish, and he sang in Spanish. So it was just like, all right, I don't understand what he's singing. I know he sings well.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. But shut up, dude. You're way too loud right now.
Spanish singers are very loud.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no
You've
whisper gene, you know?
Told me.
Well, he was also like...
While singing, not talking.
He was also like an old...
Because it's that formance that style would use.
Yeah. It was, I would say, the style of, like, my dad's old school, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And it was more, I would say, more opera-driven.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it had, like, pop tendencies, but it was a little more opera-driven.
I remember when you said that Gloria Estefan was almost a very classical approach to singing pop, and I was like, I don't know what you mean. Like, I don't get it. But you, like, heard a nuance that, like, maybe
well,
her training was more...
I don't recall saying that about her. I may have, but what I've always felt about Gloria Estefan's voice that was special was it sounds just like her speaking voice.
Yes.
Just like it.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
a remarkable
it's great.
thing, man.
I love that.
There was an old doo-wop group.
I only just started tapping into that.
There was an old now that I'm talking about it, I wasn't. It just bubbled in my mind. So his name is. I know his first name is Earl. it might come to me. But anyway, mutual friends of families and stuff. Like I got to meet him a bunch of times, and he had a pretty big doo-wop group.
Nice.
Back in the day, and they had a hit song called Gloria and all this other stuff. His singing voice, it was a louder version of his speaking voice, and that's why he was able to emote.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't trying to make a sound with his voice; he was trying to convey a lyric, and I think that type of stuff I've always been able to latch onto, just like even the sound effect stuff. It's just like, you're doing a thing. You're like, how? First of all, how?
Yeah.
Second of all, like, I don't even know. Is the voice supposed to? Are we supposed to be able to do this? Maybe they got us out of trouble 10,000 years ago. I don't know. Maybe 10 million years ago. If you could fake a lion's roar, you know, your whoever else might run away. You know what I mean? Like, so that kind of stuff is always really.
Can do extraordinary things.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, and that's been an obsession of mine for as far back as I can remember. As far back as I remember having sleepovers at my grandmother's house when I was really young, and I've always been a big Looney Tunes fan.
Yeah.
Mel Blanc has always been, or Blanc, I'm not sure. I've always heard it say Blanc, but he was always a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah.
Because he voiced every character on Looney Tunes, with the exception of like 2. But
that was the most specific, earnest, except for like maybe 2. I can't even reproduce
specifically
that
Elmer Fudd and Granny.
Very, very earnest. Like if I didn't say that the
YouTube comments are going to blow up.
Voice these 2 characters, it might be an issue.
That's right. I'll be
because
upsetting.
I want to convey that I am a super fan.
That's right.
Which you are, because when we met, that was one of your fun facts about you, and I was like, oh God, I hate Looney Tunes.
That whole series inspired a ton for me, including my love for scoring. Like I said, Carl Stalling and gosh, my brain is a little foggy today, but names are escaping me. But that whole thing, man, it was just, even watching those handful of episodes where Bugs is playing the piano.
Yes, yeah.
He's playing the Hungarian Rhapsody,
Yep.
Franz Liszt, and it's just like, even as a kid, I'm like, yeah, I like that.
Favorite composers, go.
Chopin,
Okay.
probably top.
Okay.
Fauré.
Okay.
Classical specific.
Yeah, like what you. Oh wow.
There's old Frédéric Chopin,
I remember
looking like Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes, for real. I think everybody looked like Edgar Allan Poe at one point.
That's true.
I think I look like Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe that would be a great Halloween costume.
You actually could play a good Poe, I think.
Yeah.
Would do your hair like
that'd
that.
Be good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Chopin Poe. Oh, we got one down there.
Yes.
Boom, look at that. I love it. Somebody else. And it's in Spanish.
Nice.
Nailing it.
That's awesome.
The music corner.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I forgot what your question was.
It was, what was your first instrument?
Yes. Yeah.
How
cool.
often, when did you start practicing piano?
I took up piano when I was around, I'm going to say around 8, because I don't specifically remember being in the 2nd grade.
Right.
But it's possible. Mm-hmm. It's possible it was when I was in the 2nd grade.
Okay.
Because I started in the summer. So the memory of mine is a little wonky because I wasn't in school when I started piano. It was a summer program. Mm-hmm. That's like where it started for me.
Yeah.
And I would practice. My dad was...
Shout out to Mr. Dickens.
Shout out to Mr. Dickens, my teacher, and my dad for for as crazy, strict as he was militant about music.
Yeah.
My dad was of the belief that rehearsal was training, and so like if you're not training every day, you're falling back. So, like, if you want to reach a certain point, it's an everyday thing. This has to be a lifestyle. It's not this isn't a game.
What do you think?
About rehearsal?
What do you think about music in that regard now? Not, it doesn't have to be rehearsal specifically. But yes.
I would probably agree with it.
My vague ask question.
No, that makes, I get it. I would agree. However, I think the mindset of it can be honed. Like in my short stint as a music teacher, what I would tell students is this: how much you rehearse all depends on how quickly you want to fall in love with what you're doing.
Wow.
And I would
yep. Okay.
You can practice once a month. You can practice once a week.
Yep.
You can practice every day for 10 minutes.
Yep.
But overall,
wow,
you only get good
yeah,
when you spend time with it. It's an experience thing. It's not an hours. It's not like it has to become
but you
part
have
of your.
to want it. That's as we
You have to
as
desire.
we've said. That's the talent is the wanting of it. Remember when you were
Yes.
giving me piano lessons, like maybe 2019? Oh no, it was maybe it was 2020.
We did some
And we
stuff
were-
during COVID.
we were
we sat
doing
down for a
it.
bit. Yeah.
But I think you just rocked my world right now. You just said it depends on how quickly you want to fall in love with it. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't want not because I wanted to hate piano,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to fall in love with it necessarily. It wasn't my priority. But B, if I'm being super vulnerable, this is a maybe. I was not ready to fall in love with it because I knew that falling in love would mean something. And it would mean that I am now a piano player.
Right.
And to me at the time, being a million other fucking things, a comedian, an actress, a writer, a musician, like so many, I couldn't balance in my head. I could not balance my, what would you call them? My things. I don't know.
Your identities.
My identities,
at the
yes.
time.
So I was like, oh, introducing piano? I think my body was like, why don't we just not? Like,
Yeah.
we will do the homework that Rich gives, and we'll see if we can, like, muscle memory ourselves through this. But I think you really have to, I might have to revisit
When
this.
you meet the right person,
Yeah. It's effortless.
all you know
Yeah,
is
yeah.
you want to spend all the time
That's
with them.
all you know, and you don't care why.
Exactly.
Yes.
So like I
I was like, I cared why. I was like, I'm learning piano so that I
Sure.
don't fuck up my songs on stage. That's not a good enough reason.
Well, I think there's people that feel the same way about interpersonal relationships too. They're just not ready. They know that falling in love with a person is going to now require this energy from them, and they might not be mentally or emotionally ready for it, so they pull away or they push away.
They're scared that they won't be able to fulfill the amount of.
be,
and
yeah,
again,
sure,
that's
it could be a
another.
million
That's
things.
so funny because people often think, and I have thought that all we are doing is giving energy. It's never going to be replenished. Like, there's so much expectation of, let's just say it's an interpersonal relationship, like, and then we're going to have to go on, like, what, dates every 3 days? Or it's like, how about this? Maybe not. Maybe it won't be as, like, awful as you're describing. And by awful, I speak in hyperbole. Just time-consuming. Like, maybe it is going to be fine, and maybe you shouldn't shy away from it before it starts developing. And that's a relationship for anything.
Yeah, but I also think
because there's fear there.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I also think when it's right, the talent, as it were, is the desire to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
So like, if you'll feel it.
Yeah.
If you feel a resistance, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not for you. Sometimes you
Correct.
do have to nurture.
Resistance
sometimes you have
is
to
walking into the dragon.
Sometimes you have to fight away the
Yes.
resistance to like really truly get it.
Because then you grow.
But yeah, I think the only way I think you develop a relationship with anything is by spending time with it.
Yeah.
With the love. And so like that's just how I feel about music. So you know, for me, I mean, to this day I've been a professional singer for 10 25, 30 years now, and I still practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I haven't practiced religiously piano. My classical chops have waned.
Yeah.
When I was 13 years old,
Forget it.
I was way more of a classical player than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But I still have the desire to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of now that I'm older and I have other responsibilities, it's like, oh shit, I don't think I'm going to get to practice it. Because when I practice, it's regimented.
Yeah.
There's a system.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, you know, I think it's different for everybody, but I do think that there is an element, much like anything else. If you want to become a professional bodybuilder, the only way you're going to get there is by developing a system that works for you. But you have to want to do it every day. Even when you don't want to do it, you have to be like, I'll feel weird if I don't do it.
I love that.
I don't feel like doing it, but I'll feel weird if I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
yes.
that's how
how you know.
God damn, there were so many times I cried being forced to practice the piano. You know, 10 years old. Oh my God, all I wanted to do was go out and play. There were times where I was like, all I want to do is my homework.
Oh my
like,
God.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, but I'm like, I have so much homework today.
Yeah.
And I have to sit at this piano for 3-4 hours.
Oh shit.
By the way, not piano. I had to sit at a fucking 49 key keyboard. That's all we had. So I practiced one hand, master a piece with one hand, master a piece with the left hand, and then the next time I got to go to Mr. Dickens and sit at the Steinway,
insane.
I put them all together. And
insane
that's
that you got as good as you were doing that.
You do it for 4 hours a day, 5-6 days a week.
There aren't even 4 hours after school.
You'd be surprised. You'll find it. It was, you know, I mean, we're talking 30 years of practice here. I'm sure there were times where it was more like 2 hours or something like that, you know.
I always think you're lying to me when you say 2 hours.
I'm not.
Especially because they say, like, a kid can't even sit that long.
Well, so now I'll say something triggering to some, which I'll apologize in advance for, but just know that I'm saying this with love in my heart. I actually don't believe that there is a such thing as attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Because I have to phrase this carefully. I'm sure that I had attention deficit disorder when I was a kid.
Okay.
The sensation of flames, you know, like that scene from Clue.
No.
Where Madeline, what's her name? I forget the actress's name. She's like
Mrs. Peacock.
Flames. She riffed.
What are you talking about, though?
What
is she doing?
She was like explaining how she hated something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she was touching her cheeks.
Yeah. It was like a fire.
Wow.
Was going on inside my body. The angst and the discomfort and the fidgeting and it was just, I had these moments where my body, it felt like like steam building under a pot's lid that just wanted to pop off. It happened to me in class sometimes. It happened to me at the piano sometimes. I did not want to be there.
Yeah.
Every piece of my body was fighting against this. And I think that was probably some form of attention deficit.
It might just also, it might be like.
Granted.
You're just astute of like who it's coming from, like an authority figure. You just weren't ready to listen, like wanting to listen. I don't.
Yeah, maybe
it's a weird concoction.
It's a concoction for sure. But to be fair to myself here, we're talking sitting in the same place for 3 hours.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I
So
was gonna say like I don't even want to be on a plane for an hour.
But I'm saying though, every single time it happened, I didn't succumb to it.
Yeah, and
I thought through it.
Yeah.
Granted,
completely
I think I probably developed a slight
OCD.
case of Tourette's syndrome when I was a kid due to that.
Yeah.
There was like this pressure that would build up in my head.
Yeah.
And like I would every once in a while have to like shake my head like that.
That's wild.
I went through a weird stint. So like maybe my dad broke me a little bit as a kid with music. But yeah, and that's why I say there's a balance. I think there's a healthy balance.
Yeah.
You can overtrain. You can you know, you can, even when if you're in love with a person, you can overdo the desire to be with that person. You know, I think there's a healthy balance that you have to find whatever works for you.
To everything.
Actually, you have to find what works for both of you. So even with your art, I think your art will want to be with you as much as you want to be with it, as long as you're approaching it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
If you're obsessing about it, I
Yeah.
think your art might push back at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my long-winded philosophical answer to my first instrument. I have a final question for you, and it's sort of related here.
We'll wrap up with this
We'll
one.
wrap up with this question. Now, I mentioned earlier I was a big fan of WWF growing up.
Oh, God.
And a big part of wrestling is your entrance song.
I forgot one of my
Okay, so
childhood crushes. Shawn Michaels.
Okay, fair enough. They don't call him the heartbreak. They don't call him the heartbreak kid for nothing.
Did they? I wasn't.
Have you
paying
seen him
attention.
lately, by the way?
No.
Yeah.
All right, they have entrance song. Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
Oh my God.
So Shawn Michaels, I think his debut. There he is. Yeah.
Oh my.
There's him now. I think he had an accident in the ring.
Oh fuck.
But
All right.
yeah. So Shawn Michaels, funny, the Rockers. That was his tag team with Marty Jannetty.
I wasn't paying attention, but okay.
Sure.
Yep.
But that was his. I think that was his debut in the WWF. He came in as a tag team with the Rockers.
Oh my God.
Me and Juan were always the Rockers. They were. It was like
Really?
they were like our favorite tag team. They were so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So as we wrap up here, I think we got about 5 minutes left.
Oh my God.
So one of the big parts of wrestling is your entrance music. If you got a banging entrance song,
Yeah.
ooh man, you're in like Flynn. If you could have one song that played every time you entered a room, what would it be?
This is hard because with improv shows, they do the same thing. They're like, guys, the tech is, Jeremy's the tech tonight.
What do you want
And
to play?
the
what do you
tech
want
is
to play
like,
on?
I don't want to be here. And like, what do you want me to play? To play you on? And Cat in Vegas was doing, get up and shake the glitter off your clothes now.
nice.
That's what you
Waking
get
up in
for
Vegas.
waking up in Vegas. Because I just thought it was so funny just to... Because Vegas is inside
Waking up
Vegas
in
is
Vegas.
very funny
Yeah.
to me. I feel like mine would be something from maybe The Elephant Show or Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. Yeah, it would be that song that Kiss plays in Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. And I have, or it's the entrance music of, I forget. Little Richard has a song in Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. Kiss has a song in Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. That's right, baby.
Oh,
but
my
the
God.
beginning of
There's Little
Mother
Richard.
Goose Rock and Rhyme, best movie ever. What was it? Hop to it. Don't be late. Hot to it. Something making a date. Hop to it. Well, why me? Why not? Why you? Da da da. Why not? Something like that. I don't even know who wrote that. I don't know who wrote any of that music. Whenever
All these made-for-TV movies.
yeah,
have
whenever
the
I
silliest
reference
songs.
this, and how funny is Cyndi Lauper and who's the sheep?
I don't know.
You knew the actor. Scroll down, Meg,
Ben
if you
Vereen?
wouldn't
No,
mind.
he was the
No,
spider,
Ben
right? He was
Vereen was the
Itsy
spider.
Bitsy?
Yeah, that right there, the sheep. Up. Yeah. Oh, right above that. Oh,
There's
there
a
he
sheep
is.
down
Sorry,
there,
there
yeah.
he is. Cyndi Lauper and who is that?
I can't see the face. It's blurry.
Oh, he was hilarious. But I don't know. I would love to give you a proper answer to that, but that is the first thing that came to mind. Because I think the Three
So
Blind
something
Mice
from the
is
Elephant Show, or something from Mother Goose Rock and
or
Rhyme.
something from Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme.
Song is yet to be
Yeah.
determined.
Yeah. Oh, there were so many good songs in Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme.
Oh
What
my
a
God,
great...
the sisters,
and
the
how
three sisters.
funny it was. Oh my God, what's his name? Simple Simon Met a Pieman. It was Paul Simon, and he
That's
just
great.
kept forgetting like where he was or who he was. I forget what. I don't know. A lot of you gotta watch the
I've
film.
only
for it to
seen
be a
it once
delight.
with you. I don't remember it that well. It wasn't like part of
If
my
I can
my growing
find
up.
that on DVD somewhere,
That
I
is
would
so
love to
funny.
purchase that. It's probably
Shelley
like
Duvall.
100, 500,
She's awesome,
500,
Shelley
thousand dollars.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
do
yeah.
you have one? That could wrap it up.
Yeah. There was
We're at
there was
time.
a stint in my teenage years where I decided that if I were to ever start walking, ever, like just
yeah,
on the street,
yeah.
as soon as I left it,
Get
as
up
soon as I
off a chair.
opened the door
Yeah.
to face the outside, the intro to Pick Up the Pieces by Average White Band. That
Really?
That was gonna
That
be.
is so you.
Have you ever heard? Well, we actually
That
heard it
is
in the car just the
that
other
is
day.
like so you're like wanting to be a fake
I
freaking gangsta.
Before we wrap this up, I'm gonna just pull up the first 4 bars of that song.
You better not, because this thing is gonna get flagged.
No, it isn't.
Oh boy, if it does, I'm gonna kill you.
No, it's not. We'll be fine. Listen to the first.
You better pause that shit.
That's that jam. If that played every time
Just
I
a
opened
guitar going like
the door,
this.
it's the coolest intro of all time. And then it comes in.
Give me the horns. Yeah, that's fine. You are an 80s
That would
movie.
be my jam.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Think about your entrance music.
That's right.
And once you do find out your entrance music, go about your day with said wrestling entrance music.
That's right. Walk your life with a soundtrack.
Walk your life with a soundtrack. Awesome.
Take care, guys.